Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to... Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Diane the guitar. This was sitting down in our jam room, green room. Got a whole bunch of just old junk. I'm sure Vic Hucklebuck pulled this off of a trash truck going by at some point, dumpster diving. We're all good dumpster divers around here. I was looking for a project to do, something to do for a video, and he said, here, do something with that. So there she is. So I'm figuring it's a harmony guitar. Here's the headstock, as you can see. Somebody lovingly put Diane in there and redid the harmony. I'll see if I can find the ad that I think this came from. I'm pretty sure it's a mid-60s harmony. And it's an arch top. It is beat up. We're going to start at this end. So you got that nice headstock there. I'm sure that was refinished at some point. Maybe Diane. You got these mismatched tuning pegs on the back. You got some are black, some are white. Two different kind of shapes. I might have some replacements. I might have to, and you can see that the white ones are really bent up. I think those are the original. The neck is really, really straight. It's the reason I decided to take on the project. Pretty cool that is worn in there. I don't know if Diane was the player or Diane was who was named after, you know, like Lucille the guitar or something. The body has a lot of splits in it, a lot of cracks. Let's start here with the major one. You can see that that's split away from there, completely pulling the tailpiece sideways. There's a nice split here, you can see, and most of it's coming away all the way around. And feeling inside, it looks like there's just some bracing up on the top here, and that's starting to pull away as well. So I'd like to do right by Diane the guitar here. Ended up getting this bridge. Just going to need some work to get that in there. That's down the road, you know. And I actually had this tusk nut in the stash. Fits in there pretty good. So that's two things going for me. I was really hoping that it was just this down here that was split and I could put some clamps on it, put it back in. But I really think a majority, I would say 30% of the top is coming up in various places up here and down here. And I'd say maybe 25% of the back is coming up. So I think I didn't want to get that deep into it, but maybe the guitar deserves it. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up and try to pull the back off. If I can do that in one piece without doing too much destruction, I can get a lot of wood back in there, a lot more clamps to get that bracing, to get this edging all back where it's supposed to be, and then re-glue the back on, and then do the finish that I wanted to do. I wanted to keep everything pretty much original. If you could see, probably tough to see there with this crappy ass camera. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will smash this camera on my new camera. So yeah, as you can see, they did some outlining around the F-holes with a marker or something, and even it's like hand painted on the edge, and that's really rough too. So I don't know. I think Diane the guitar deserves it. So let's see what we can do with Diane the guitar. This might be a complete fail. I'm looking at here in the light, and it is just drips and drips of poly. Somebody must have refinished this at one point. Obviously they refinished it at one point. I haven't even seen brush strokes, so they were brushing it and just letting it pour down. A lot of work to do with this one, so we might as well get to it. Took off some hardware. Those are the old ones. The one on the right is original. and that's from the low east side. The black ones look like replacements. I have two of these that fit perfectly, so those are probably going to be my replacements. The tailpiece, when that came off, kind of a pop in the body. I think it was holding most of the body together. So I want to take the back off of this thing, and I went around with a paint pen and I kind of marked on the top and the back and the side, so I kind of know where they meet up. I did that in all the spots where it's actually, the seam is actually good, and I think that's going to be the best way to do it. I have to get in there because this back here is super loose. You can see that, and this all needs to be glued to this back piece here. And yeah, I mean, even if I get that glued down, I got splits here. So I think if I take the back off, I can fix these splits, go through anything on the inside that might need to be re-glued. The way that I'm going to get this off is I'm going to go back to a trick I learned on the SG that we did, the 69 SG, this heating pad. It's just a regular back heating pad. If I lay it across the back half here, it would heat up this edge. I can start using a putty knife to start bing, 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 getting myself loose there. And once that's off, I can take it to the next step, which is making sure everything's solid inside. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, the back came off pretty easily, except where I heated it. It's funny. I put the heating pad here and it was very tough to get off, but I was able to slide the putty knife in over here and it just went right around. So it's pretty dry. You can see that this crack right here, there's a crack right there, and that runs up to about here. There's two of them. There's one, that one runs to here, that one runs to here. There's nothing to really put it back. I think I'm going to take that strip off. All the came off pretty good. There's one little piece of kerfing right here that I'll take off, but everything else came off really good. There's some numbers, some cool stuff. Right here where my thumb is, it says 6 of 62, made in the USA. And then there's a number here, 2731214 maybe. I'll try to take a close-up picture with my phone. I'll put it up. But as you can see, I mean, the glue is just roasted off of there. It comes off like dust. So that's the back. Inside isn't much better. Very dirty. A lot of the kerfing, as you can see right here, is just completely loose. I could probably just peel it all off in one piece. I don't want to. But I got to get some clamps. Going to go to Harbor Freight, load up on clamps. I think my first plan of attack is to start working on making sure that the kerfing and the top is connected to this, is connected to the body. And once that's all solid, this rail here is also completely loose. It's attached down here, barely. This one's pretty solid, but all this weak glue just breaking off here in my fingers. I think the worst part is down here, where it's completely separated from the back block, and it's kind of bowed out too. Don't know how I'm going to handle that one. I think just lots of clampage on that. I think after the top is secure, it'll bring this down, and then I can clamp that, get a lot of glue in there, and just clamp the heck out of it. It's very dry, so I'm thinking of steaming it or getting some water back in there in some way. I mean, I could probably snap this all in my hands right now. It's so brittle. But once I get the top secure, the rails secure, make sure this kerfing back here is all loose too. Make sure all the kerfing all the way around is good and tight again, and then I can secure my back. Lining up, my pen marks that I had made earlier, and I think then we can move forward with that. We're gonna bring Diane the guitar back. It's looking pretty filthy in there. I'm gonna vacuum it out a little bit. cleaned up those joints of the old glue and re-vacuumed before I put my clamps in. I really should have got more of these bigger clamps, but only a couple bucks on me when I hit the Harbor Freight. But those are definitely going to be a necessity in the future. More of those. I was able to set up this end here. Get good contact there. This one is sat for about 48 hours. Take some of these clamps off of here. Alright. A little ugly, but seems to be in the right spot. I noticed there's a hole right here. I think that might have had like a peg, like a violin would have a peg, but the violin holds the tailpiece, the peg. I think this would probably be to maybe for your strap. What I'm going to do is drill it out so it's nice and even and plug it up with a dowel. Glue dowel in there and then even up this end, and I'll put a real strap holder in there, make it a little easier to play. But it is so solid now. I'm feeling way better. Everything about it is more, there's way more structure to it. That sat on down there pretty good down this end. So I think I'm going to clean up some of my glue boogers in here. All right, a little smithy on the back of Diane. Got two splits here being held on by these bands. I'm going to take them off and I'm going to fix up these scars. And the top's going to take a back seat while I take this apart. And oh yeah, the glue is gone. So I can finish up here and then I can move on. See what I did there? Bottom rail back on. Get some good squeeze out of the glue there, so that's good. Really need to get some more of those long C clamps. Those are like perfect for luthier stuff. So I'm gonna let that dry. Do the same thing up here. Take that one off and re-glue that. I sanded up and cleaned up the edge the best I could. I do believe that it is solid enough to start with the back. Get the back on here. I did put, I was nervous because there's a lot of, because I never took the neck off of that dried glue, so I put a couple screws pre-drilled and countersunk them a little bit into the neck to hold that sturdy. And I doweled off that hole that was there because I want to sand that flush, and we'll put a real strap holder in. I think I want to put a little up here on this edge to key in. I think this would be better. And it would key right down into that kerfing. Hopefully. Alright, let's try this again. That's every clamp I got. I'll fit anyway. So, left the back. We'll get to that one after this all dries up. Diane, the guitar is solid. A lot of glue, but I knew I was going to be sanding it down and refinishing it anyway, so I really didn't care about glue. Normally I would. But it's solid. It's got good tone throughout. Something I didn't notice before, there was a little bow in the neck around 13 or 14. And I'm trying to straighten it out here. I'm going to leave these on for a little bit, maybe a day or two, see if that makes the fretboard any more flat. What there is, I'm noticing behind, right under here, underneath the fretboard here, is there's a wedge of wood, and it goes to here. So it's like a wedge here. And if these clamps in this 2x4 don't work, my second option, I'm thinking of carving a wrench out of some thin wood, some really thin plywood I have, and I could do that right on my X-carve, make a big wrench here and kind of put it on and then pull it out, because I never put any new glue on this portion here. So if it's like any of the glue that was in the rest of the guitar, that should come out pretty easy. I tried pounding it out with a like this, but I made a little mar and it wasn't really moving anywhere. Plus I have the tension of the 2x4s on there. So if this doesn't straighten it out, I'm going to make a wrench on my X-carve to pull that out. Hopefully this will straighten it out. But then I'm thinking, even if it straightens out, it's still going to get tension when we put the strings on it, right? So we'll see how this looks after I take the clamps out. But I might have to make a wrench, pull this out, sand it down a little bit so that it pulls the fretboard closer to the body. But other than that, I'm very happy with the way it came out. I can't wait to start sanding on it and put a new finish on it and get it up and running. So as promised, I carved a wrench. Fits right on there. It's about the only thing I can think of to try to wrench this off and get it out of there safely. I could just like knock it out, saw it out, or carve a new piece, but I'd like to keep this one if I could. So this is the less aggressive. If this doesn't work, maybe I do that. But so anyway, let's get wrenching. Yeah, it's not moving out at all. Second thought is a thin saw blade to run all the way down to there. Leave it attached to the fretboard like it is and try to just get a little more gap in there. I might try that. I'll tape off this body top so I don't put it in gouges or anything. Not sure where I left off on this one. It's been sitting in the background for a little bit. Haven't gotten back to it. A lot of projects going on. I did end up getting this piece out that was under here. What I ended up doing was a sharp saw, thin saw, and it was able to go right underneath the fretboard and saw that out. And then I kind of had to hammer this out from the side. And we're going to put that back in, but there's a ton of glue buildup on the back, so I want to sand this down. When I got that out, that immediately sat flat, so this whole thing is flat now. So if I can shape this to fit under there correctly, I also have to get the old glue out of here. I still got a lot of sanding to do. Majority of the top and the bottom, it's all smooth. It's a lot of finish sanding, just to even it out. The neck, I have to sand the back of the neck. I've got the headstock, back of the headstock. I am going to leave the art that's here. It's been sitting here so long, it's so dusty. I'm going to leave that, the Harmony and the Diane, but I want to dress it up a little bit. I want to even out. This looks so, it looks like it's drawn on with a pencil around there. I want to leave the Harmony and the Diane because that's you know, hand drawn on there. But just see if I can tighten up this black border that's there too. I have to make it a little thicker, but that's okay. On to shaping this thing, sanding it, and getting it in there. And other than that, it's good. It's been down here for so long, and all the gluing that I did has really held up, so that's good. Just need to, like I said, do some finish sanding and decide how I want to finish it. So that's my next step. A little bit of shaping, it fits in there much better. I'm going to glue it in and let it sit for a little bit and then finish up the sanding. I wanted to bring you in here and show you whereabouts I am. I got it all sanded down. I left as much of that as I could. I'm going to try to do a pinstripe around that top, kind of like you'd see on a Les Paul. And I'll probably do some black pin striping down underneath the neck. But I think my next step is going to be to take it down and sanding sealer, put sanding sealer all over it, let that dry, and then maybe give it a light sand. But then I'm going to go with this aqua coat wood green filler, and I think that'll be pretty good. Also, while I was sanding, I decided to see if I can get the polyurethane that someone had put on the fretboard off. And so I used the razor blade, and just after a couple scrapes took it right off. So I'm like almost wondering if this fretboard was supposed to be blonde and not this. Which brings me to my second thought I've been having on this guitar. It's been in here for so long. It's been in here for like 6 months, and it's just kind of, you know, a side project, something I'm doing in the back. It's not for anybody, it's just for us. So, yeah, so my first thought was, I can't find anything that sort of matches this when I look in the 60s Harmony guitars. So I'm almost thinking, is it back further than that? Because when I brought it in, it looked like it had been redone maybe in the 70s. That's how old the finish was. So I'm thinking, if you're refinishing a guitar in the 70s, you know, why would you be doing that if it was made in the 60s? And when I'm looking at older Harmony guitars, it's sort of matching up a little more with what's going on with older Harmony guitars. So I'm talking like 40s. I don't know if this is that old. If somebody knows more about it, then let me know. My second thought on it is it doesn't have a truss rod. So would that put it older? I don't know. But if it is older, that's cool. I am still going to try to preserve this as much as I can. I wanted to sand it down. So that's where we are now. I hate sanding. It's like the worst thing, and I put it off for so long, and it's fun Fun finishing, fun stripping it down, but when I get to sanding, that's a roadblock too, and it stinks because when you're done with sanding, everything beyond that is going back down the mountain. You're on the home stretch. But haven't decided what I want to do with this fretboard. If I want to leave it blonde. I'm having a little trouble getting the brown out down here. But it came right off of all this. So I think just to hide a lot of flaws, I might stain it brown. And the body, it's got so many flaws. I've been wanting to paint it, but then again, do we accentuate the flaws and let it ride the way it is? So I finally got some motivation to finish this thing up. It's been many months of repair. It's been a side project. It's the first thing that gets pushed aside when something else comes in. So I really want to get this done so I can move on to some other stuff. So thanks to Super Tim. He's a professional painter. Worked around my rattle can paint job to give a nice smooth finish. And it is pretty smooth. Just waxed it up. Gonna start getting ready to put this thing back together. There's really not that much to it. There's no electronics or anything, right? The most extensive thing I think I'm gonna do here is the fretboard. I'm gonna go through these frets, see how they're looking after all this work, this extensive work, and then yeah, I think I'm gonna sand them too. I'm gonna sand them down a little bit. They were scraped, but I think they can get a good sanding too, especially down here where there's still some of that brown varnish in there. And yeah, I got some tuners, a couple sets of tuners I can try on this. They're not the best. They're original from a couple different guitars. Maybe I can find something better down the road. Maybe I have something better in the stash. I'll look. I did buy a new bridge for it. That's cool. And I have to install the tailpiece. So it's really from here to there I gotta do. So set you up and we'll get to that. After all that neck work I did, fretboard's pretty good. There's one spot here that's the 15th fret is actually loose. It's coming up. I'm going to try to give it a little hammer, but I don't know if that's going to do it. So I might have to put a little super glue in there too, CA glue. But let me see if I can get this to pound down. That worked down there pretty good. I'm going to leave it. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Give it some oil. Looks like maple to me. There are days when I just feel like smashing this thing into the floor. It's another couple weeks later, finally getting back to it. It's buffed, been waxed, looking pretty good overall in that regard. But I just want to finish it. It's been here for so long. I keep getting other projects, and this one keeps getting pushed to the very bottom. So I wasn't happy with the hardware. I couldn't find the nut that I had for it. I ordered this one and it happened to be perfect, so maybe things are looking up for this guitar. I did file down in here, got that nice and straight, flat, and I didn't need to take anything off of this nut. fits in there perfectly, side to side, like it was made for it. Just gonna leave it. And secondly, I wasn't happy with the hardware I had for this. I could find some more somewhere, but none of them match. They're all mismatched and different color, and so I did the right thing and just got some cheap tuners here. But they have, all new hardware. I'll tell you how those go. And also the bridge I got originally when I first started this guitar, it's going to be like an inch or two high. That's wicked high. So I can't use that. So I did order this bridge. It's just out of maple, and it's carved. Doesn't have any grooves in it yet. And I think it'll make a good replacement. I think it'll be the right height down here. But I'm going to wait till the strings are on it to set that. That'll probably be the last thing going in. I did polish the tailpiece here, so that'll look kind of cool on there. Yeah, so I'm going to get going forward. I think the first thing I want to do is I want to glue this nut in, and I have a little hide glue here, and what I want to do is I'm going to pour a little bit in there, and you don't want much, and you don't want it getting all over the place. And if you just pour it right out of here onto the nut or into here, then you're just going to make a mess. You don't have any control of it. So I always like to pour just a little dab off into a cup or on a piece of scrap cardboard or something. Get that on. I'll install the tuners, the tailpiece, and then we'll try to get some strings on it. But yeah, it's coming together. I went with the maple on this because I just thought it kind of would match the fretboard and everything else. But I think once it's all carved up, it sits really nice on one side, and on the other side, this side, it's a little high. So we'll figure out how to get a nice shape on there so it sits in there nicely once we get the strings on it. So, nut first. On an electric guitar, I'd probably use some tight bond, but because of the age of this, I just want to use some hide glue. Plus, I've had this sitting around for a while, so I think it'd be a good use for it. Old guitars and instruments like this, they would use hide glue instead of a wood glue. You want it reversible. And a little of this goes a long way. So, but like I said, getting it on the brush, you have control of it. That nut setting in there nice. I'm gonna put these tuners on now. There you go. I can tell you right now, none of these holes are going to line up. Pretty sure. So we'll just drill ourselves some new ones. Let's see, this will be set. I think this is going to be the third set of holes. I'm going to use some tape here to kind of line up. Run this here right along the edge of the two outer holes. Right. Something to line up to. Boy, these are cheap. Yeah, will do. Good enough for the girls we date, right? Have to drill those out. Look at that, Swiss cheese. doesn't look too bad. Will do. Turning our attention to this end of the guitar, I got a piece of contact paper I'm just going to put down here when we fit the bridge. Thinking right about there would be good. I got to, thinking they're going to probably line up somewhere along the points of the F-holes, possibly. We'll see. Polished up the saddle really nice, which is good. I was debating on changing that out too, but you know, you already got the grooves here where it's always sat, the holes for it down there, so we're just going to go with it. And a couple specks of rust on the back still, but I think that'll be just fine. I also got some new hardware for it, but I just want to kind of put something underneath it until we get the strings pulling it up, you know. Scratching the top. Scratching up Timmy's fine paintwork there. God, I hate flathead screws. Infernal creation. I measured one of my acoustics here and it's like the same fret spacing, so that puts the top of the nut at 25 1/4, which actually ends up being right between the 2 points on the F-hole. So I was kind of thinking that. And then I just kind of drew some guides here so I kind of know whereabouts we're going to be sitting. So this is the new bridge we're going to be putting in. It fits really good on this side, but it's wobbly on this other side. So I got to take some of this inner part off. Alright, this is an 80 grit. We're going to put it up there. Vacuum out of the way here. I'm going to be right in the middle. So I'm thinking like right there. Alright, this is an 80 grit paper too, so this should go relatively quick. Now, I don't want to put too much pressure on this side because I think that's perfect to where it is, but I really want to focus my right here. That doesn't last long. Already taken on that shape. I want that to sit as flat as possible in that area. Just when I think I'm done with this thing, it brings me back in. So this is the bridge I've been trying to modify. It's maple. I had to keep adding stuff to it. Problem is it's not curved at the top, it's flat. And there's a crown on the frets. So when you get to the middle strings, there's a lot of buzz and a lot of bad notes being fretted. These are what they look like when they come in new. These are really nice quality. Give this guy a plug. That's where I got them. Yeah, really good stuff. I'm thinking of a cigar box guitar, so these will come in handy. I'm not going to get rid of them, but I'll keep them. This is the one I bought 70,000 months ago. When I first started this, it's got a nice crown at the top, but it is just way too tall. The action would be way too high if I did that. So I got this nice maple. It's really smooth. I think it came from like a canvas stretcher frame project I was working on. And so there's this section here that's really nice. It's like a sectioned frame, but it's nice maple. So I think that'll do good. I have it ATG taped to this piece of scrap wood underneath and clamped down. I was going to cut the whole thing out and then sand it to the thickness that I need, but I think what I'll do is I'm going to go like a little more than halfway down, and then I'll run it through the table saw and should pop out of there. I wanted a little bit thicker than that, the bridge I was using. It almost felt like it was going to roll one way or the other at some point, whereas this one's really wide. I don't want to go that wide, but a little bit wider will do. So I'm going to set you up and you can watch that carve out. Alright, so that's all carved. Bring you in here and you can see the one closer to you is the flat one I was working, and now you can see that's got the newer one I made out of the maples, got a little bit of a crown at the top. So it'll end up sitting right around there. It's a good color match for the neck and the pinstriping, so that's kind of cool. Just going to figure out what kind of strings I want to put on it, so I think that's up next. So I'm going to string it up, and probably going to put in my new bridge after that. I did mark around where the string should be. I do have bass and treble there on the back, and so I know which side goes where, and if somebody changes it, they'll know which side it goes on. And I'll put that on after I get the strings on. So I decided to tune this to Dad Dad,
It's lighter than tuning it to standard. I think it'll be less tension on the neck and the body until it settles into its new life as a guitar. It forgot to be a guitar for 40 years, so now it needs to learn how to be a guitar again. So I decided to go with this dad tuning. You've probably heard of dad-gad, but this is dumber. Dad. You know, one finger type things. When I play it, I like to think of it as like a drop D. I play it like a drop D, like I would do, you know, like grunge music. So if you think of it in that term, it's pretty easy to follow. It's also like if you can think of it as you have two sets of power chords. You've got the top 3 strings and the bottom 3 strings. So it's really easy to follow. And I like the little droniness of it. Some artists who have used this, Stephen Stills used this tuning on a couple songs. And one of my favorite artists, Mike Doty, uses this tuning. And Ben Howard is another one that uses this tuning. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun. And I do a lot of finger picking, just doodling around. I don't really play that much, but when I'm sitting here watching TV or something, you know, on the couch, it's nice to have a guitar in your hand and noodle around. So, but yeah, so that's the tuning I'm going to keep this in. It's also fun for good tuning for playing slide guitar. I don't have a slide, but I got a cigarette lighter. Get the idea? So that's the dad tuning. If you've never tried it, you were looking for something different for slide or something to just have fun with old grunge songs, give it a try. It's real easy to down tune your guitar, real easy to up tune. It makes it really slack when you're playing it too. Everything you play sounds good on it. I think. So I'm liking everything about this guitar so far. Well, that was an adventure. Learned a lot from this guitar. Learned a lot of new techniques. Learned a lot of what not to do. Don't put a lot of time and energy into a cheap-ass guitar. That's the first one. But I also learned to get more clamps. That was another thing that I learned. Learned a lot about how the structure works inside the guitar. I wish I had taken the neck off and reset that with new glue too, but I think it'll be okay. It's not going to be a stage guitar, a recording guitar. It's more of a wall hanger, something to take down, bump around, not worry about taking to the beach or something, you know. I do still have it in that dad tuning, and I'm going to keep that for a little bit. See how that goes. Maybe I might get some lighter strings and then go to a standard, if people like to play it. It's got a real thick neck. It feels like a beer can. But other than that, the action's still a little high. But I want to let the string settle in. I'm going to take it off anywhere. I might take a little bit more. Maybe take these grooves down a little on the bridge. Very happy with the bridge. That's one good thing that I learned, is how to make my own, carve my own bridge. So that looks awesome. And as far as the history of the guitar, I still don't know anything about it. So if anybody knows more about this, some clues I'll give you. It doesn't have a truss rod. That's one thing. Did they start using those in the 60s? I think. 50s? I would think that by the 60s, Harmony would be putting truss rods on all their guitars. The guitar, when I got it, looked like it had been refinished in maybe the late 60s or the mid 70s. So I'm thinking, why you wouldn't want to refinish a guitar in the 70s if it was from the 60s. So that's why another reason I'm thinking it's older. Yeah, and the age of the wood and all the glue just disintegrating just leads me to believe that it's much older. Also, is this supposed to be a blonde fretboard, a maple fretboard? Did they stain it? I don't know, but there was definitely brush stroked. I don't even know if it was polyurethane. It might have been like Mod Podge or something. That's what it kind of looked like over the whole thing. Some things I wish I had done differently, besides, taking the neck off. I wish I had just left it plain wood and not done a color on it. Also, if I'm going to be giving something a super, don't cover it in spray paint. I'm a slave to the rattle can because it's easy, it's quick, but I really got to learn how to. Well, I think I kind of got an idea, but I just, it's cost. It's cost effective. It's more cost effective to buy a can of spray paint than, go get a pint or whatever you need of color paint. But I really should be doing that. If this was a more expensive guitar, if it was a Martin or something, Guild, then I probably would have put way more into it. But it's a Harmony of unknown, I don't know where it was. Be sure that Vic Hucklebuck snagged it off the back of one of the trash trucks coming through. That's how it ended up in the jam room. Yeah, I mean, it'll get back there. It'll be a nice wall hanger. So I want to give you some close-ups here of it too. And there's the headstock. Kept that nice pins. The artwork up there, Harmony and Diane, and some nice pinstriping. I'm really happy with the pinstriping on this. I really think that came out really good. Gives the guitar a little bit more dimension. I wish I could have done something on the F holes, but they're really kind of misshapen, so it was tough to get a line on there. But yeah, here's a close-up of the maple fretboard, and that looks okay. There's this split down here, but I'm not going to worry about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video series. I got some more stuff coming down the pipe. Nothing this extensive or stupid, but I can always try. So thumbs up so I know you like my content, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.